Alright, so I'm going to show you my hip mobility routine that I do. So what I do is I start with hip circles to try and warm up the hips. So what I do is kick straight back, bring the knee out to the side, and then bring it forward. So from the side, this is what it looks like. I kick straight back, bring the knee out to the side, and then start all over. This is so I can start to warm up the tissues in the glutes, and then I'll do a fire hydrant just like this. The reason for that is it warm up the tissues and it makes it easier, or makes a more effective stretch. So I'm just pushing the knee, holding it for 2 seconds, and then coming back, and then again push it for a few seconds and then bring it back. So I'll do this about 5 times, and then I'll push it as far as I can go and then hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. And then of course I'll repeat that on the other side. And then from here, both legs are in a 90-degree position. I'm kind of angled so my back leg doesn't look 100% 90 degrees. So I'll go all the way to the left first, looking for tight spots, and then I'll come a little more to the right, just on top of my knee for a few seconds, and then I'll come a little bit further in between my knee and my foot. Go as far as I can comfortably, hold it there for a few seconds, and all I'm doing is looking for those tight spots. And then once I find that spot that's really tight, I'm going to start going in and out of that stretch for about 2 seconds, and then I'll go into a 30-second to 60-second holds right after that. So now I'll get into the hip flexor stretch, and what I'll do is I'll contract. I'll bring my knee towards my lead foot and I'll try and bring those two together. I'll relax, and then I'll go deeper into that stretch. What I found for me personally is when I do this, when I do the contract relax, when I first go into the stretch, my body doesn't want to go into that stretch until I really focus on getting it relaxed. So I use the contraction and then relax, and then I can go further into that stretch. And then after I do that, then I'll start to increase more stretch by lifting my arm up over my head. From here, I call this the shin box. I'm basically making like a triangle. It's probably a shin triangle than a box. But anyway, I'll do this, lay my legs over to the left, and then turn to the left. And what I'm stretching here is not only my quads, but also the hip flexors, and getting rotation in the low back. And then of course I'll do this for both sides. So fold my feet over, making sure that my foot is on top of my quad. And then with my right hand, I'll reach as far as I can go. And then with my left, once I place it down, then I push with my hands to try and twist my body. And then once I do that, I'll reset and I'll go back into that stretch. I'll do that a couple times, and then I'll go into 30-second to 60-second holds. Right now I'll get into the frog stretch to try and stretch out my adductors. So I'll separate my knees and then come down to my elbows, and then push my hips back until I feel that end stretch. Hold that there for about 2 seconds, come back out of it, and then go back into that stretch. So from the side it looks like this. I'm going to push back into the stretch, come out of it, then go back into that stretch for about 2 seconds, and then come back out, and then hold for 30 seconds after I do this about 5 times. And I'll go into this cow, camel, cat, whatever you want to call it. So I'll push my shoulders forward as much as possible, rounding my back, and then I'll sit back to try and get more stretch from the glutes and the low back. And then I'll reach out and then come back to the starting position. Push my abs towards the floor, and then just repeat that whole motion. And I'll hold each position just like this for a few seconds and then come back out of it, just trying to mobilize my spine as best as possible. And that was my stretching routine for the hips.
Make the ground shake.